Infinity
We
Light.
live.
Oh, okay. What's up, y'all? Hey, y'all people, how y'all doing?
Hey, everybody. Complex Mind, Simple Man. This is Theus with Antoine and Tracy. And I know normally come on at 7 on Friday. Well, if I can say normal, because I'm only just now starting to be a little consistent. So if you're catching this, I thank you. Please watch to the end. Please give us feedback. Please give us comments. Do the whole nine. Well, and I'm sorry. Like, share, and subscribe. Yes. Tracy and Antoine, did y'all want to introduce yourselves first, or do we just want to kind of go into what we're talking about today?
Tracy, ladies first.
I'm Tracy. You know, think about what we're talking about. I'm not surprised, but that still doesn't mean I'm not angry. We've had two more high-profile cases where it's literally a crime to be Black, and it's becoming more and more frustrating for me. Like I said, the rulings, especially with the Carmelo Anthony case, I thought, maybe they'll get him on manslaughter because true in fact, he did unalive that man. There's no doubt about it. But I thought, with the circumstances, he had no intent on unaliving him. They would maybe get manslaughter. For them to just go murder like that, I understand now because, there was no Black jurors. I don't know if the defense was trying to not win this case because it seemed to me like there were things even I thought, well, why didn't you bring this up? Why didn't you bring that up? There's a lot of things that just perplex me. And in the South Carolina case, that was just a man. He had been in altercations with Black people before. It seemed like to me he was just bound to shoot somebody Black. And for him to just walk, I would be interested in hearing what the jurors would say. They'll probably go into hiding. But I think the case in South Carolina is worse because he can never be brought up on those charges again. Never. Because of double jeopardy.
Civilly, he could.
I don't. No, he can't.
Oh, civilly, he could be still responsible for the murder.
Civilly suing, but they can't criminally bring any
not
charges.
criminally. Not criminally.
And it's frustrating because I don't know if we're going to talk about this, but the thing that came out of the South Carolina case that it might be, I'm not going to say it's positive, but I don't know if you all saw some clips of some people of Asian descent. There was a call to boycott that particular store, not all Asian businesses. And some gentleman decided, you know what? I wish I could, well, I have it, but I don't know if I could share it here. But he basically said, we give you all so much, you don't work hard, all these stereotypes. It's really hard for me not to be angry because it's just like Black people, we're an endangered species almost in this country. And where do I go? I can't go to Europe because they have racism in Europe. There's no continent that I can go to that doesn't have this problem of looking sideways at me because of the color of my skin. I've just had a lot of thoughts going through my head. So sorry to be all over the place, but that's just what I'm thinking.
Now, one of the things you just said, and if you could dial it back for me just a second, It was right after you made the point about you have like a couple of Asian individuals who were saying like you don't work hard, like racist responses, right? Right after that, you mentioned something. Do you recall what that was? If not, it's okay. We can move past.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying I wish I could share it because it was just so inflammatory. It's like, why do you realize you're in this country? You're able to be migrants or immigrants because of the work of Black people? Do you not know this? Do you not, are you so blind to your history you don't know it? Like, what is with you? But I have to remember that those two people don't represent every Asian person out there. And that's been kind of hard for me, if I'm being 100% honest, to keep that in mind.
Which is, to me, is rational. I mean, when you're dealing with a highly emotionally charged thing. Antoine, how about you?
Obviously the case has been, it's been affecting me too. When I was thinking about, the Carmelo Anthony case really bothers me to no extent because I feel like he was 100% completely railroaded into that conviction. There was too many conflicts of interest in the whole case, from the fact that the father, the DA, and the judge were all friends and had a party at the dad's house. And they all partied together and had a good time together and all that stuff like that. And then they sit there and this performance of a banana republic, a banana court that they had was just like the DA took every Black jury off the case. There wasn't any Black jurors on there. There's 3 that went, and he took them all off. Then on top of that, like I just found out today, that after Carmelo Anthony went directly to prison, he went to prison of his uncle, the uncle of the boy that was killed. So the complete power structure that existed to incarcerate this boy and to just streamline him to prison was incredible. Not surprised though. It's Texas. That's one thing. But the things the case doesn't stand up, and the defense attorney was just terrible. He was completely horrible. It was malpractice in my mind. There was 21 witnesses. He never cross-examined any of the witnesses from the prosecution. He called 7 witnesses. He never pointed out any of the inconsistencies of any of the people that were on the stand. One person even said that they had admittedly lied about it. Didn't cross-examine him. Didn't excuse me. Didn't even try to establish another venue. Didn't even know, and it was a simple search and discovery would have found out that the judge, the DA, and the dad were all friends. It was on his Facebook. He never, it was clear as day right on his Facebook. So they didn't do the due diligence, and it should be on appeal. Like, if it doesn't go on appeal, and plus it's stand your ground. It's a stand your ground state, and they have video.
Not for Black people.
I mean, obviously not, but I'm just saying. But it was a stand your ground state. There were a lot of premises that they could have went on, but I think for me, like the biggest thing that it was just like with Trayvon Martin. You're just the only consistent thing that it can say is that you're Black. There's no other rhyme or reason you should have done this, complied, this, da 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 da. It's never that, because there's been so many situations where we complied and stuff like that and still get shot. So the thing that I think we have to do, we have to understand, we are not dealing. When are we going to stop thinking we're going to get a fair treatment? Like, we have to go into it knowing there's not going to be a fair treatment going to happen, and how to line ourselves up so that we can amass power for ourselves. Right? I think I was telling Theus before this, like, in any other in any area of this situation with Carmelo Anthony, if there had been someone who would have been black, who would have been more sensitive to the situation, I think it would have saved his life. I'm not saying he's not dead, but I feel like he's gonna be unalived soon because he's in the prison of the uncle of the child he killed. You know, it's frustrating. As far as the case in South Carolina, I'm conflicted with that one because not really conflicted. I just think that he was wholesale murdered because to chase someone for 162 yards, you know what I'm saying? You're hunting him down for murder, right? And then it makes me feel like the system rewards you if you hunt us down. That's how it feels. So there's and I think that's until something is made an example of, we're just gonna have to we have to set up arms for ourselves and protect ourselves at all costs. We don't have to. Or understand that that's gonna be a casualty of the war. That's how it's gonna be. You're gonna lose your life, or that's how it's gonna be. If you stand your ground, you'll probably lose your life. But a noble life was had.
And that's what's really frustrating, especially with the Carmelo Anthony case. It was like the defense attorney, I'm like, did you get your law degree out of a cereal box? Like you only called 7 witnesses.
7 witnesses.
7. Mm-hmm. 7. Now I understand because of the rule in Texas, he couldn't do anything about the 3 black jurors that were thrown off. Okay, got it.
Well, the only thing about that I didn't understand was that usually when you're sitting a jury, the prosecution is not the only one sitting the jury. Like usually the defense and the prosecution sit there and they ask questions, and then they sit together. But apparently that's not the case.
Texas has this really weird rule, and I want to bring it up here. It's like called. Let me backtrack this.
Where you can strike jurors.
I get it right. Right. It's like you can only
strike,
argue with so many of the jurors that are disqualified,
right?
And then after that, you don't have any more.
Yeah. So, not looking too close at the Texas rules per se, but that is exactly right for most jurisdictions. The number can vary, but like there's a certain number of jurors you can strike for any reason at all. And so the defense can do, let's say 3, and then the prosecution can do 3. Well, if the prosecution struck you only 3, they're gone. The judge should get involved in such circumstances, but
not in this case. We know he was a rigged judge.
Right. I mean, that's certainly how it would appear. So, I'm gonna hit a couple points. I'm not gonna go into my whole spiel, but basically, like a couple things were brought up between you and Tracy. So, like no black jurors in the Carmelo case, manslaughter. Why wasn't he given manslaughter or charged with manslaughter? Because there was clearly no intent. Of course, we got a terrible defense attorney. But when I heard you say that, I was like, wow, you think about it. Derek Chauvin, they didn't even give him murder 1, right? Like, that's not how our legal system works. I mean, we are literally born under suspicion. And that's why I said here, a conviction looking for a crime, right? Like you were convicted when you were born. And then they're going to wait and see what crime they can tie to you. And if they can't create a crime, then they'll create new crimes. And that has been the history of America. And then like touched on, like you had pointed out with the young man who was murdered in South Carolina. Well, not young man, the boy All right, he was a child, so still
He was a child.
14, I think. So like there is that call for like boycotting Asian businesses, and I can make a case for blanket boycott of Asian businesses, but I also can make a case or a challenge to that thought process. Because the reality is, all Asians are not the same. You
Right.
know, they're literally independent nations. That's like, and we don't like it when you lump all Africans into like one group. You know, uh, so there is that angle, and that's important, especially because this isn't a situation where it's really that hard to determine. You can figure out what this gentleman's nationality is, his ethnic origin is, and if you want to boycott on that basis, then you can easily do that. You can say he is Korean, or he is Vietnamese, or he is Laos, right? Um, I just feel like when you decide we're going to go against the whole Asian as a title, as a lump, like I said, I can make a case for it, but that's not the case that's being made. It's not an intelligent case being made against them. It is, in my view, a very xenophobic one, where you're just saying, "Ooh, Asian, therefore." And I'm like, think about this, folks. We got to think things through. At least I would like for us to think things through and keep in mind that that same weapon, you just picked up your enemy's weapon,
Right.
you know, because your enemy is always used against you.
Right.
And so be more careful how you respond uh, if you're going to be responding for a desired effect. If you're trying to respond for a desired effect, then you need to be more targeted with what you're doing and be more intentional about how you're responding. If you just are going to react out of the emotion of it all, and I'm not in any way degrading or coming at people who are responding emotionally, but I'm saying if that's where you're responding is off of the emotion of it all, then yeah, you're going to do something blanket. Just be aware, though, you are literally using the same rationale as what I would call your enemy.
But
Okay.
here's the thing that I have. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
go,
Okay.
no, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I sort of have to kind of disagree with you. And here's what I'll say: Black women spend hundreds of dollars on their hair,
Monthly.
hundreds monthly. There are there are many times, and I've heard many stories, and I've experienced it myself when I've went into Asian owned because I don't know their ethnicity. I'm not that educated, so I don't know whether they're Lao or Vietnamese or Chinese. Where I've experienced, they speak in their own language. When I come in, they are very rude. So I intentionally said, you know what? No, I'm gonna find a black owned beauty supply place. That because I just made up in my mind. And maybe that's what needs to be the argument, not to just say, hey, all Asian businesses, you're just alike. The message needs to be, hey, we need to be supporting black beauty supply houses and nail technicians and laundromats. Maybe
We
that should
literally,
be the message.
yeah, we literally were the foundation and source for black hair care and black nails. It literally came from us. My first wife, when we were in college, that was one of the ways she made money through college. She did hair and she did nails, so that is ours. We relinquished it, in a manner of speaking. But I like how you kind of came at that. So um, I think that saying support black business, while that is a worthy and important message, I think we have to be a little bit more evolved with our messaging now, because that we've been saying that now for 30 years, and if for whatever reason, whether it be out of convenience, whether it be because I personally think a lot of times people, not just black people, but Americans, look down on immigrants and view them as being a cheap or a lesser than. So it's almost like a sense of someone serving you when you go into these spaces. And I've seen people with that air of attitude, where they're looking down on the people who are doing their nails, looking down on the people who are doing their hair, making Asian jokes in their presence. And I'm not saying any of this to cape for the Asian community. I am actually saying this because I want to elevate the discussion so that how we respond has the desired outcome. And so when I hear support Black business, yes, but what I want us to start to look towards is why. Why do you need to support Black business? Is it because when you go into these environments, like you were saying, however the resentment started, I don't even care. You go into these environments, you don't feel welcome, and they're intentionally speaking in another language so that you don't know, right? If that's your reason, I would say that's not sufficient. I'm short on cash. I would like to say the reason, and I'm talking about on a group level, the reason would be we lack a base of operations. We lack an economic foundation. So we need to build an economic foundation on par or superior to our peer groups. If we want to get our nails done, why aren't we requiring that service out of our Black beauticians? They can get somebody who does nails. We got a lot of artistic children who would love to do something that didn't get paid, or young adults or adults, period. We don't have it because we don't demand it. So I'm saying perhaps that is a better thing. We need to build we are late. We are very, very late.
I think, yeah.
We got to.
No, so go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just basically getting at that, in that, yes, we need to build Black business, but I think we have to.
Can I say this though?
Yeah,
it's this whole thing in the clip. I wish I could find it, where the young man is talking about. I don't know why society, like every community that I know of, minus Black people, supports their own, and there's no they're not judged anger in them.
Yeah.
Well, when Black people start talking about, hey, I'm intentionally supporting Black business, all of a sudden I'm racist,
separatist.
I'm separatist. It's like, well, wait a minute, but you're supporting this community,
which is coming directly out of their pockets.
Well, it's not even just that. It's because whenever somebody does something different than you're accustomed to them doing, you call it out. See, when the Latinos go to the supermercado up the street, they're not making a big deal out of it. They just go over there. And they don't have the same intertwined history that we do with our historical adversaries, right? So we have a stigma assigned to us, even though it's not truly representative, I don't think, but we have a stigma assigned to us that we want integration, that we want assimilation, that we want and we desire their approval and their acceptance. So if that has been the energy, and I argue that's the energy that our community has put forth coming out of, and I'm not trying, and I am not criticizing my forefathers. They made the best decision that they could make, given the information they had, and they did what they did, and I am benefiting from it. Could I have benefited more from it if they made a different decision? Perhaps. I wasn't back there. I'm here now, right? So thank you for all that they did, even if they went left when they should have went right.
Yeah.
But until we decide as a collective that it doesn't matter what they think of us, it doesn't matter what opinion they hold of us, it doesn't matter what they say when you decide that you're going to go to I don't even know what a Black-centered business technically would be, because we haven't sat in this and really as a community identified who and what we are separate from white. We haven't done it. So it's very difficult for us to even pinpoint.
I don't think they'll allow us to be decenter. Well, let me say it. When you're trying to decenter, we're decentering ourselves from being Black, right? I mean, being white, decentering ourselves from white people is what I'm saying. Every time we've attempted to do that, and we went that route, they've always pushed it back to the point that they want to be centered in our lives, right? They have to be, and you know,
they don't have to be.
They feel they have to be. I'm not saying that they have to be.
Don't think we feel they have to be.
Yeah. And the only thing I have to say is that I think that like when Trish was talking about that, it's just sometimes we feel like I think that there's certain sectors of our community that feel the white man's ice is colder. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, and I get it because for so long it wasn't just that we were told something was better.
We want his neighborhood. We want those communities. So when they rush out and then they go into their community, we want to run right behind them, right? Because we feel that's the better schools, all that kind of stuff.
But the reason for that, there's a very clear reason for that, though.
Yeah, we know because it's the lack of resources that are in our communities.
Exactly. So it's logical that we chase behind them, because unlike all these other groups, like the immigrant groups that come in, we don't have another base of operations. In fact, if you get to talking to a lot of African Americans, just American Black people, and you dare call them African, you got a discussion on your hands. You can't, so if you can't call me an African, which personally you can call me African, I know where my blood comes from. But if you call me an African, I debate with you on that. Okay. Where is your base of operations then? Your base of operations is now on the land that you're in, whether you are indigenous, like we've talked about, bro, or if you are ADOS, descendant of chattel slavery, however your blood comes to be on this landmass. If you do not hearken to another nation, because Africa isn't even good enough. This is a whole continent. We claim Africa because we don't have a freaking choice.
We don't know what's up.
Yeah. So if you are, and you can look at our brothers and sisters, if you are Nigerian, you are Nigerian. And you have no problem saying that's what I am.
I'll be fair though. Nigerians are even coming to that. That's a new thing for Nigerians. Because Nigerians don't call themselves Nigerians would call themselves by their tribal name, not their Nigerian name. It's not their national name.
That's true. That's a deeper level than what I want to spend time in right here, because none of us are that. But it's a fair point. But what I'm getting at though is when you try to compare across groups, there is a significant difference to when you can anchor your identity to something else. We honestly don't have that privilege. So we link ourselves to this place. And then our source of being able to exist has always been subject to the will of white America, right? So we've been wrestling to kind of separate ourselves from that, in a manner of speaking. Some of us actually kind of like being tied. But I mean, you look at your major corporations, most of our employment, our education, you name it, is intertwined, you know? So I get some of it, but what I would love to see is, what I would like to know, and maybe y'all can help me with this. What makes it so difficult, given that most of us do have a grasp of history? Like, we might not be able to roll it out like some of us do, but we have a grasp of history. Why aren't we angry at the right things? Because if you were angry at the right things, you wouldn't be like, they won't let us. No.
Right.
They keep attacking us for trying to do better for ourselves. We should be angry at that. We should be angry that every time we built something, another group came to destroy it. We should be angry that every time we tried to build our own schools, they came to subvert them. We should be angry that the way we make a lot of our wealth is through entertainment and sports, but they won't let us own it. We should be angry at these things and saying, given my anger, how can I respond to it? And I feel like we never quite get to that part. Like, how do we respond to it? And so our anger kind of dissipates. What are your thoughts? Am I like heading off in the left field? Or?
Yeah, you don't went too deep for my knowledge. I'm like, oh, what?
Well, I'm not even talking about like events. I'm literally talking about the grievance. I think we've all heard a lot of the grievances, right? Black Wall Street, Oscarville. What was the one that was under Central Park?
Shelbyville or something like that.
Something like that, right? There are so many atrocities we can't even keep track in many cases because it destroyed the records or it's been kind of twisted or lost in history. But we do know these things happen. We do know that we have not always tried to walk in their shadow and get closer to them. We know it. So the fact that white America continues to want us present, but they don't want us included, why is our response overwhelmingly to continue to obsess over them not liking us as opposed to, or what they're doing to us, as opposed to what we can do in response for ourselves?
I almost want to say that's something that's probably something in our DNA, bro. I feel like we're just a benevolent people anyway. We've always been the moral compass for America, and I feel like that I was thinking about that when you asked the question. Over the history of our existence, just everywhere in the world, we've never really been super combative at colonizers like that. I mean, I guess there's the French Revolution, the French with the Hades and stuff like that, but I just think we're just a benevolent people. We just we try to get along and coexist with everybody we can. Not saying that we don't have wars and stuff like that, but we try to have some type of morality to it. You know what I'm saying? We're not, we've always had, that's just something that's in us. You know what I'm saying? That's almost like in our DNA.
So I do believe that it has been trained into us as a survival mechanism for so long that it's difficult to shift. But I just don't feel like that's sufficient because so first, and this is going to be something most people will not agree with me with, and I understand that, but the African American is literally the most manufactured ethnic group on the planet. You had Africans, you had indigenous. But the African American is a unique tribe. It's a unique bloodline in that it is mixed with that of our enslavers. It is mixed with the indigenous people. And it is also intentionally was stripped of ever forming its own true identity, to the point that I would even say that the African American, and I'm using African American instead of Black, even though it's largely synonymous. But I want to make this point clear. The African American is perhaps the most American on the planet because we don't have anywhere else to go. We don't have anything else to associate with. And because of that unique crucible that separated us from whatever our histories were, because like with me and you were talking the other day about indigenous versus imported Africans, right? The breakage still happened.
You didn't say imported.
I said imported because they moved us like products. You know what I'm saying? Which is a different point I was gonna make. But it's like you got no matter how your people came to be in this thing, to be Black at this point, you have a unique history. Now, I would say that unique history is our tribe. I would say that is the foundations of us focusing on a culture and building out from it. I would say that so that we can start to anchor ourselves and then say, okay, well, what has continued to interrupt us? Because like when we talk about laws, I don't know if you saw some of my prior videos, the laws were never written for us. Like they weren't written for us. The laws were literally written for white men to tell them this is a human. this is a citizen. This person should get to vote, right? You had to legislate morality and decency in order to have something to enforce to push the culture a different direction. And part of my thing when I say uncentering whiteness is, yes, you have those outside forces pushing in on you, but what about you? It's kind of like when I talk to my kids. What about you? What is stopping you from, like Tracy pointed out, going to a black-owned hairstylist, or going to a black-owned hair supply, or going to a black-owned nail service?
I've thought about that too. Obviously, I'm a black-owned business myself, right? And one of the things that I think that I try to keep myself as a high standard, because I don't want to be the black business that gives bad service, right? I don't want to be I want to be able to treat the dollars of black people, that, or anybody's dollar really, but
Yeah.
if your dollar coming in, you want to treat that like it's gold. You know what I'm saying? And I think that sometimes we, it's not an excuse, but I think as business owners, we need to make sure that we give the best experience for that black dollar, because if we're turning them from somebody wanting to go to to a white business or an Asian business or whatever, it's got to be we have to either, we're competing to be better or to exceed their expectations that they have for us. We got to be, because that's going to turn them, because our dollar don't circulate in our community enough.
I agree. One of the big issues is, first of all, I don't even know how we can
define it. But here's the question. Here's the real question I have, though. How do we keep that? How do we cultivate an attitude within our community, and within, not only in the consumer side but also in the business side, where we are articulating to each other like, hey, we want to do business with you. We don't want you to go anywhere else to do business, and we want to give you the best service and best product. Like, I don't want to go to another brunch spot and I'm paying $50 for parking, $100 for one lamb chop, and $75 for hookah before I even have one drink. I'm already out $175 or $200, right?
Okay.
We can't use ourselves. We can't use each other as, and we're getting off on a tangent a little bit here, but
actually, I think this is an important part. Because
we can't use each other like a trick on the street. You know what I'm saying? We can't prostitute our own community.
So I'm going to hit this in a couple different points, and I'm probably not coming at it in the right order, but I love the things that you brought up because they're super important. So the last part, treating like everybody who comes in across your business as a mark, as opposed to focusing on a relationship. Okay. For that part of the story, I would present to you the marshmallow test. Okay. So if you're not familiar with the marshmallow test, and this is a loose explanation of it, but they have little black boys, little black kids, little white kids, and they put a marshmallow in front of each child, and they'll say, if you don't eat this, I will give you 2 tomorrow. Okay. You can eat this if you want, but if you don't, I'll give you 2 tomorrow. And disproportionately, the black child will go ahead and eat the marshmallow now. Because what has been taught at a societal and group level is that you may not be honest with me. And I know I want this marshmallow. I don't know if you're going to be good to your word and give me 2 tomorrow, right? Oftentimes you'll hear it couched in a delayed gratification discussion, but it's not what it really is. We come from a culture where we have been lied to and abused so much. And also you have been starved of resources so bad that unfortunately it manifests in a lot of our businesses where you come across my business, I'm going to get you for everything I can. Right? You come in and you want to get a cheeseburger, I'm going to be like, well, you got this right here and this right here. You're trying to run it up as high as you can because your concern is if I don't get it today,
I won't get it.
I don't know that you're coming back tomorrow. I got bills to pay, right? And so part of what you were saying, I think the response is and it's going to take time, but it's going to have to involve reshaping what we have to get away from this individual mindset, I think. But we have to get to the point where we decide what we're after is bigger than what's right now. And so now the business can focus on how do I provide the best service to make you want to come back to me, right? That's one part of it. On the consumer side, we also have to understand how business works. And we have to understand that if I'm a startup business, especially a Black startup business, more often than not, I started this business with what I could scrape together.
Right.
This is on my credit, or I had to borrow it, or I'm sinking my hopes, dreams, and every ambition into this thing. So my prices are going to be a little higher because when I go to buy something, I have to buy a pack of 10. The other store up the street buys them by like the cargo ship, like not a ship, but the container. So I can't price it at the same price. And as a community, we have to be at the point where we can say, I will pay more to do business with you, not out of spite to all these other things, but just because I want to see you succeed. And it has become a reciprocal thing. And that takes time because trust can break down.
I honestly I think that's idealistic. Because the other thing we're facing is that we have less resources than everybody else does. You know what I'm saying? I say everybody else does, but we're lower on the resource totem pole than everybody else does. I think that I was thinking about what you're saying. Like, I don't think as a consumer they give a damn of how much it took me to capitalize this business. They don't give a damn of how much I'm making in it, or I'm struggling in it, or whatever. That's not their concern. Their concern is that what about it's very much like you said, individualist me. What about me? I don't give a damn about what you got going on. What about me? But I think that's what I was going to get to. I think that we have to show the symbiotic relationship between the business and that business in that community and that consumer. You know what I'm saying? That symbiotic business is displayed like when we were talking about in the South Carolina case. I'm willing to bet you 9 times out of 10 that that store is in the middle of a food desert.
Probably.
I'm in that they
conveniently placed,
very completely in a Black neighborhood. Yeah, and in the Black neighborhood, you have to go to them. You know what I'm saying? But if we understand those patterns, we need to create those patterns for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And we're building. I think it's very noble that T.I. and Killer Mike are looking for a spot, as well as the mayor. Let me just give the mayor his props too. Are looking for spots in Atlanta they're known food deserts. They're looking for grocery store chains. And they're giving the premises, hey, you're in a food desert. These people only got like Popeyes and Mrs. Winters like that. So they tell them to come in. This ain't gonna be this ain't a money get. This ain't a money grab. You know what I'm saying? It's a long-term play.
Yeah, I appreciate them doing things like that. But where I am not minimizing those things, but I am intentionally not addressing them, because if we want to shift the culture, the individuals have to stand up. We have to make some changes. Me make a change. You make a change. Now, these other entities like the mayor and big businesses and our celebrities who are stepping up in their way, great. But to move the culture, I'm actually kind of drawing from the impression set by many of our counterparts, the Latino community, mainly the Mexican community, and the Korean community. Those are two that are very close to us. Like, we interact very much, at least in proximity. If you've ever tried, like, we're in insurance, right? If you ever tried to sell an insurance policy to a Korean business owner, it ain't happening. Not gonna happen. Generally speaking, it's not gonna happen because they have someone in their community who is also similarly trained, probably offers the same product, may even work for the same company that you do. They will pay more to work with that person, or if nothing else, they will wait to work with that person. Not because they dislike you, not because you're not Korean, well, mainly because you're not Korean, but it's not because they have something against you. It is that I will prefer to go this route first. And then if I can't satisfy this within my community, then I will shift. That speaks to what you were saying, Antoine, about how the money can move inside the community because you are giving the people that you are in theory most connected to first right of refusal. To do that, there has to be a cultural drive, though, right? And that cultural drive comes from a bunch of individuals having a similar outlook. One of the things I was going to mention is, like, let's say Tracy owns a corner cafe, okay? And when you go into Tracy's corner cafe, she's nice to you. She's pleasant, but she's not over the top, right? It's not, she doesn't do all that stuff, okay? Because what you see Tracy, and you're saying that she's being slightly ambivalent, but she's pleasant. What you're not seeing is after she takes your order, she has to go straight back to the back and finish working on the books. Her cook is not in today, so she also has to make sure the order gets prepared and cooked and packaged and put together. You're complaining that the chairs and the booths in her area, that they're not as clean as they should be, and they got like tears in them. But what you don't know is Tracy sunk the last of her savings into getting secondhand chairs and booths so she can at least be able to get the doors open. Right. So, right. So where a huge drop off, and this is going to be, I don't know, maybe thinking slightly out of the box. Because like you said, I am being idealistic because where we are isn't good enough to me. So to get to something better, I have to be idealistic, right? I have to be raising my bar to want something different. How does Tracy get a customer to either acknowledge all those different things that she might be doing automatically, or to ignore them because they really like the food and they understand that this is a business person trying to make it happen? I think the best way to do that is you got to do something beyond just your business. This is where you're a Sunday school teacher. This is where you do, like in my case, Saturday school. This is where you do something that allows you to teach people about business, because most people have no clue. They got no idea. And so if you don't understand something, you don't appreciate something, you can't relate to that something, and then it ends up coming across as they don't appreciate you. You get what I'm saying?
I think that's almost like what we talk about, community policing. I was thinking about it. Yeah, so it's like you're in the community, you're cognizant of the community, which is the same reason why you just mentioned the Asian man works with the Asian man, because the Korean guy's going to work with the Korean guy because he's in the same community. They know each other. They're familiar. They're proper touching points. We don't have that. I think because we're just such a, amalgamation of different people. We're not tied to anything. We just seem to wander to whatever's our flavor of the month is that month. But then we also have this thing that we create culture. We create culture for this country and stuff like that. And we have to really understand that that's our commodity, and that's what we have, and we should hold court for anybody who wants to come and get a piece of that culture. We should control that culture.
I think the reason why it's so hard for someone like me to even pinpoint our culture, because I believe we have one, but the reason why I think it's so hard for us to pinpoint our culture is because we are purely an exporter. We develop we export our culture, right? But we don't get the benefit from it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like so if we would consume truly consume more of our culture that we export, one, we would decide what doesn't taste right and stop selling it. And two, we could start to really latch on to who and what we are. Because like we say, part of our culture is our unique way of engaging with music, right? Because you got, let's just be real, you got Black gospel and you got other folk gospel. Okay.
Right.
I don't even know if I can call it white gospel. It's your other folk gospel. But there's a clear shift when you're dealing with Black gospel, right? Well, a lot of people like to hear it, but are we, and you guys tell me because you know better than I, do we make sure that we're getting together as artists to develop our own label that we then can attach to Arista or whoever, but we do it as our own collective label? Or are we more likely to be a strong artist, create our own label to take advantage of our own other artists, but we're not doing it to build?
You've picked a very unique genre, right? Because gospel artists have had their own labels for years.
I was thinking Verity
Years.
Records is one, the big one.
Yeah, I mean, for years without being attached. What you're talking about is a distribution issue. You can have your own record label all you want to have, but until you have the power of distribution, that's where the
That's
power
why you
lies
need the
at.
bigger label. Yeah.
And marketing,
Right.
yeah.
That's why there you go. But there's this thing called YouTube that has completely changed the game where artists can just literally release whole CDs or CDs, you can tell how old I am, release whole releases on YouTube. Don't have to go through a record label, don't have to go through all of those things. So that you picked a very
Honestly, that's the equivalent to when we were selling our CDs out the trunk of our car. Like Master P, how he launched his career. Label wanted to screw him. He decided, forget that. I can sell it myself. I used to sell dope. I can sell a CD. So he started selling out the trunk of his car. Tyler Perry did the exact same thing. Oh, you don't want to pay me? Well, I can sell it directly to my people myself out the trunk of my car. I'm cool with that. And that is the YouTube model. Let me throw something at you guys. Looking at the YouTube model, let's say all three of us are musical creators. I could have a YouTube channel. You could have one. You can have one. Why wouldn't we create a YouTube distribution channel and we split and share the proceeds with all the artists who come through that channel? Now you have to come to my channel to see these 30 artists. They only exist here until we can get them a label contract and they can go.
But that is happening though. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that's already it's not happening in huge numbers where you see it in terms of Black artists, but that's actually happening where artists collaborate and say, hey, let's all put our resources together and let's make this thing work.
I love to hear that. I did not know that. So
yeah, I mean,
how can we capitalize on that? And
I don't know how prevalent it is with Black artists, but I think about, by example, you said you don't have a business that caters to Black people. Well, I started a project that actually does cater to Black children. Our specific goal is to get Black children involved in theatrical productions.
That's illegal now. Right?
They can arrest us all they want. I
agree with you, but I'm just saying, like,
well, as long as she's not asking for any funding.
Yeah, I'm not asking for exactly.
It doesn't matter if you're asking for government funding, but I mean, it is important because that's how they target you. But and we'll see what comes of it. I'm sure it'll get defeated in the court.
I mean, you're always, like I said,
because you're still allowed to have
to get Black children. Now, will we exclude white children, Hispanic children? No, but our goal, our target, our intention
I'm with you.
is Black children. We're not excluding anybody. But when you start asking about who it is, it's Black children 10 to 17. That's who we're targeting.
I 100% agree with you. And you know what I'm building. And I am very much centered on the Black community. But what we're dealing with here, and this is super important because it ties into an earlier point. What we're dealing with here is it's not so much what is your intention. It is how they can weaponize your intention against you.
It's against you. Absolutely.
So it doesn't have to be true that you do not allow white children. All it has to be is someone says you didn't, and when they look at your roles, there are none there. Right?
Right. If you have a Black doctor, you have a blackdoctors.org that's being sued by white doctors saying it's discriminatory. And I'm like, so you're going to sue JewishDoctors.org, you're going to sue Indian. No, he's not suing any of those. He's suing. Oh, well, this is discriminatory.
Because the other collectives don't identify themselves as such. The only other group, the only collective that identifies themselves as such would probably be like a Jewish doctor. And they don't have to because they're so integrated into the system. So it's the fact that you said that I am trying to cater to the Black community because we know that they are disproportionately affected by adverse outcomes in the healthcare market. So I want to help serve this community. That is how they then target you because they're saying, wait a minute, I want access to that money. And you're telling
me about the money.
That's all it is. Like, I want access to that money. And since you called it blackdoctors.org, anything that I see that's Black must mean anti-white. That's what America has decided as its messaging. And so I'm saying, if you believe in it, do it anyway. Okay? Because what they think of you, once again, it just shouldn't matter.
Yeah, it shouldn't matter. It's like, we're going to do it anyway. Right. And then you go sue all of those other doctors.
And then what you do, though, and this is my take, and this is more of a why did it just get out of my head? But it's Tuskegee, Antoine. Carter, Washington.
You talking about the peanut guy?
No, not him.
Oh, what are you talking about then?
That's why I always get it screwed up. But anyway,
you talking about we got Washington.
Booker T. Washington.
Booker T. Washington, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. But
yeah, because when I think peanuts, I think Booker T. Washington.
No, when I think peanuts, I think George Washington Carver.
You think George Carver, yeah.
And Washington.
I know, but I'm just saying, how did you connect your
It's the Washington.
The Washington.
Oh, I'm like,
me off every time.
Like, oh, okay.
But he was one who, and he doesn't always get the credit that he deserves, in my opinion, but he wanted to serve the Black community, but he did it as an integrationist. So I'm not going to scream Black, 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 Black. I'm going to do Black. So we are in an environment, and we are entering into an environment where, unfortunately, you have to change a little bit of how you might do some things to avoid certain levels of focus. So like, you want to do something for Black children, just say you're doing something for children and then market it to Black children. You see what I'm saying?
Put Black people on your flyers, put Black people on your, and then they'll figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. You know?
Well, I think let's get back on track that we were talking about, because we were talking about the of what we need to do to.
You're exactly right, Parker.
I don't see what Parker said. To put us in those spaces that we need to be at, where we're not able to, we're not trying to be almost not a segregationist or anything like that, but we're not tied to what they need us to be. You know what I'm saying? Because like I was saying, like my whole premise when I had this conversation was that it was somewhere along how we can consolidate our own power within our own area. I think we talked about going to buy Black, be Black, in Black, stuff like that. But how do we consolidate that power? Like in this integration time right now, how do we consolidate our power when we know there, and have an understanding also what like we were talking about earlier with the girl supposed to be here with us, talking about the Voters' Right Act, the voters maps, and stuff like that. how they're trying to break up our power base and stuff like that. And I hate to say when they say power base, because I don't really think that if we really had a power base. I believe we perceived that we did to get one person in the office or two people in the office, and then when they get there, they get handicapped, not having putting on any committee that's worth any significance. So,
two sides to that. First part, and that's why when you brought that up to me in our other conversation, I was like, I don't really know much about that whole redistricting piece, because in my view, it doesn't rate like I've shifted. Okay, so for those of you out there, if you ever followed me and you look back at my old content, I am very like political strategy the year of an election. But the moment the election is over, I am done with politics and I'm back on Black community. Okay. So with all of the, pardon me, Tracy, fuckery that's going on, I have really I am largely done with the political discussion in the moment, because like you just kind of got at a little bit there, what are we fighting for in this moment?
Yeah, what are you gonna? What's the game? I mean,
yeah, because first of all, for me, everything comes down to power, and you have to acquire powers so that you will then have leverage, and then you can use the leverage. We don't have power and we don't have leverage. So they go after our voting rights, and their next one is going to go after our civil rights, but they go after your voting rights and they take from you your one Black district in a state, or your 3 Black districts in a state. Now, first of all, as I said in my prior video, politics is how resources are allocated. So it is very important that they are freezing us out of the discussion. That is important. But you didn't really have much going on.
To start with. Like we was out here like, watch us. So,
I'm mad that you took something from me. And my response is, my reaction is, how do I respond to that? And my response is, okay, we're going to pull out of politics, because we were already like very watered down. Now you're freezing us out. Okay, we have to go into a survival mode, which is a very dangerous place to go, but we have to go into survival mode and allow the things that happen around us to just happen around us. And in that interim, we use the laws that are available to us that we can navigate to build our own schools, build up our businesses. Where are the areas that we are most adept at? Barbers, salons, food, entertainment. We are very strong in these areas. A lot of it comes natural to us. What we're often missing is capitalization. Well, it doesn't take, if we're serious about this, it doesn't take a lot of money to accomplish a new business and let it grow if the community is supporting that project. Okay. So I'm of two minds. One, yes, it's bad that we're losing what little we had politically, but I see that and I say to myself, that is the problem. The problem is that we didn't have much. So my answer to not having much is we need more leverage. Can we get more leverage by complaining about 2 seats? I don't believe so. But can we get more leverage by building an economic base that is able to pay for some of our children to go to college and study political science and go to law school? And it's the community paying for them to go. And the community is able to pay for it better because the community is supporting the salon. It's supporting the barbecue shop. It's you know what I'm saying? You get where I'm going with this? So I know it sounds almost like a retreat. Well, no, it sounds more like giving up, but I'm saying it's more of a retreat. You know, you are losing on that hill. You're back up. You know?
Yeah, I think you're right. Actually, right. I mean, I think that's always because there's a certain segment of the population that feels like I can't let go of even an inch of what our forefathers have have fought so valiantly and hard for. Well, baby, if it's got to this point already, we've already lost it. You know what I'm saying?
And not only that, but one of the things you've heard me say many times, before it got to this crisis,
when we didn't vote them, when we didn't vote those midterm elections, we didn't vote those. We didn't go out to those 90% of all the voters. With 90%, if you were pissed off by this, then you should be even more pissed off about, because we're at the end. We're at the end result. This is like getting mad at the 400 600 pound man that got cancer and it has like 2 weeks to live.
We're in consequence time.
We should have been mad when we saw him eating, 7 chickens and a box of Krispy Kreme and a whole thing for a whole slab of bacon for breakfast. But we're reactionary to it now. Like, oh my God, we got to do something. No, we have to be consistent throughout the whole process. We have to make sure that every election comes up, not just the national elections, people. Because Carmelo, I'm gonna bring this all back together. Because Carmelo Anthony could have been saved if we were involved on a local level as heavily as we are on the national level. If 90%, 100% of the vote came out and they got black jurors, they got voted in black judges, they voted in black DAs. You can say, well, they don't have the numbers. Don't matter. You can have the influence.
Well, here's what I want to touch on just real quick in that, because I made that point a little earlier in my notes. If we are at the point where the only way we think we can have justice in the justice system is if the judges, lawyers, and jury are black, there is no justice to be found in that system. And we need to look at that and face that fact. Okay? Because it shouldn't take a black jury to protect you under the law.
Well,
so either the law is wrong or the system is wrong.
World peace. I mean, come on. Please.
I'm not saying that, Tracy. I'm not saying world peace. What I am saying to you is implicit to saying you need a black jury to protect that black boy. Implicit to that is you acknowledging that a white jury can't give you justice. And if you're saying that,
well, if we're gonna say that a white man can, if we can say, we have to start using that. We have to start using their logic against them. If they can say that a white man could govern over us and be, give us representation, then we can say that a black one should be able to give them representation too.
Yeah, we can say it all we want to. What we're missing is power, because you're exactly right. You're 100% right, because it is because of the power that whiteness has taken in America that it somehow believes, despite all evidence to the contrary, that only a white man can be impartial, he can suspend his emotional attachment to whatever's going on, and he can preside over any case. He can preside over a black man, a white man, a Hispanic man. But because they have decided that anything other than white is not qualified to preside over themselves. So if we are willing, as I'm willing, if we are willing to think it all the way through, then we need to face it. We got to face it, man. And so long as we allow their narrative to govern how we feel about things, we are not going to get out of this, bro. And we got to understand that, like you were pointing out, and like I was saying, we're in consequence time. So not getting registered to vote and then using your vote in a coordinated fashion is why they don't value your vote and why they sit there and keep playing with your district lines. Your response to that, our response to that was the system is crooked. I'm withdrawing from it back then, Yeah. I'm withdrawing from it back then.
All you Shambu Negroes talk about, I'm not going to vote for Kamala. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that.
Well,
You didn't vote for you. You weren't. Let's go even that. I'm not voting for Stacey Abrams. I'm not doing this. I'm just talking my area.
Yeah.
You don't show up to no. You don't show up to no. You don't show up to no community meeting, no counseling meeting, no commissioner meetings or anything like that. You're not. You don't.
Nobody.
You won't listen. You won't go to nobody. You won't go see nothing. Oh, I got too much going on in my life and all that kind of stuff like that. But yet, when the consequences smack you fat in the head, when justice is going around looking for guidance, we are not at the table, right?
So my point is that are you doing as much as you can given the circumstances?
We're not at the table. We're not at the table because I'm gonna just admonish us that we're not at the table because we're not at the table. Like we can't expect us to be 100% in. We can't expect the system to reflect us if we're not in us. You know what I'm saying? We're not in the jury. We're not in the jury box. We're not in the. We're not on the voters' roll. Let's say those things, the things that happen, the things that they're using as tools. They're using those as tools because they know we don't participate in them at a high level.
Well, not only that, and they actively work to keep you from participating. And the problem is they're actively working to keep you from participating, and you're not mad about it. Not you, Antoine, but we're not mad about it.
Right.
Right.
So all y'all that are mad about the maps and the way they're treating, the way Trump came in. Trump didn't come into office like in 4 years. It was 25, 30 years in the making for him to be doing what he did.
Well, now that we're going into a different area, because
what I'm saying though is that that's how we have, but that's how we have to move though. The blueprint of what they're showing. If you're showing you how to do, they're showing you how to move, right? Yes. And we're the MAGA party is a minority in America, right? They're only about 20 to 30%. I'll say 20% of white America, 30%, right?
Easy.
20, 30%. Well, I'll say 30. They were 30% early on. Now they're about 18, 17, 15%. But my point is this. The minority moved the whole culture, though.
Reverse minority of the majority.
What I'm saying, but still, reverse engineer that shit, though.
I am. You know I'm reverse engineering it from the standpoint of, because I agree with you until you get to this part of the discussion. All right, I'm with you all the way up into this part.
Yeah, I think I reverse engineer because I think they show their hand. You see how they play, and they show their hands.
Show their hand. They've been consistent for 200 years.
Yeah, they show their hands, and we got
nothing different.
And we still acting like they're gonna do something different. Like y'all act like we act
never
like
do that. They would.
But I'm just saying, but we're the fools that keep thinking.
They always will do that.
We're the fools that keep thinking that they are going to change, though. I think what you sent me today. What you sent me today was the most amazing thing ever, because when they was talking about Iran having psychologists sitting amongst the negotiating team, they know they're dealing with some fools. Yes. Talk to the fools like fools,
because they're looking at it. So that's an excellent. I'm going to use that real quick. Iran, for whatever narratives you want to believe, because I'm not a big Iran person, because it's outside of my window of give a damn. Mm-hmm. But Iran is attacked by two major nations. And they did not spend time equivocating about, is America bad? Is Israel bad? Right? They didn't spend time trying to figure this out. They didn't try to figure out, well, it's this part of Israel, so don't bomb that part of Israel, bomb that part of Israel. No, they looked at it and they said, I am being attacked. My people are being unalived. I see where it's coming from. I see how they're manipulating the national and global conversation so that it can justify them doing more of that to me. Ipso facto, they are my enemies. And that is how Iran looks at the U.S., and that's how the U.S. looks at Iran. They are clear enemies. They ain't trying to figure out how we can be buddy-buddy tomorrow.
And also, they control the narrative for their side.
They control the narrative for their side, or at least they
impose their narrative. They impose it, which is important, which I'm fine with.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah,
because
I'm
I'm not getting that.
I'm not saying I'm pro Iran or like that. So don't come in the comments about you pro Iran, you're anti-American.
It's
That's
like
not it.
whatever. Yeah.
They understood. They understood. It's like the art of war. Sun Tzu.
Well, that's
They
true.
understood. They understood that they understand their opponent better than their opponent understands themselves. Right? Because
So why don't we?
that's what I was getting to. I'm wrapping it up. That's what I was trying to get to. That's why I said we have to understand. We've seen this opponent for 400 years. We know we see every play. We know they're gonna run the same plays over and over again because they keep working, right? Until they don't work, and they're gonna keep running the same plays. So we've seen this throughout our history. And that's why it's so important. That's why it's so important for us to understand our history. Because when they keep trying to wipe it out, you not understanding history, not to see their plays. You know what I'm saying? They try to hide their playbook every 25, 30 years, right? So once we see their playbook, we should know at that time we need to go on the offensive, right? Not the
that's
defensive.
the point. Because in sports, or at least in football, you have an offensive playbook, you have a defensive playbook. But you also have coaches on the line who are making adjustments as we go. Okay. Mm-hmm. As a community, we do a decent job of defense. We ain't got no offense because on our defense, some of us are scholars, some of us are educators, some of us are fighters, some of us are these different things, but the defense is running. The defense is always running. NAACP is out there doing their thing. You got street level activists doing their thing. You got some politicians here and there doing their thing, but it's all defense. What are we doing on offense? On offense, we're all individual contributors, basically.
I would have said
we don't see each other as being a squad.
Yeah, I'm gonna put this as plain as possible. And when you look across from your brother, that is not your enemy, right? That is not your enemy, right? Whatever you think beef is between the two of y'all, that is not your enemy, right? The enemy is the one who causes conditions that cause the disagreement between y'all. And I'm not saying don't blame the white man, take responsibility for your own situations. Yeah, I get all that. I get all that. That's very true. But you have to also understand that the moment you fire on that brother, you have given them a tool. You hurt your own community. You're hurting your family, you're hurting your community, but you're also hurting your whole community as a whole. And you're hurting the image of your community. Let's just talk about that too. Right.
Well, I think that's too heavy because we're already in the second hour. So we don't.
Well, I'm just saying, but that's another topic for another day. But I'm just saying, but that's the thing that I've been impressed with Iran, because Iran's telling their own story to our people, and our people are like, wait a minute now.
Well, that's because they're playing with us. It's called propaganda.
It's propaganda, but I'm not saying propaganda has to always be bad though. Any other good circumstance, I agree, but I mean, in another situation,
they got no benevolent intent here.
Hold up, no, definitely not. But if we want to talk about it, propaganda ain't nothing but marketing, right? It's marketing to us. You know what I'm saying? That's all. So we could talk about the Googles, we could talk about the TikTok stuff. It's just marketing, right? So you can call it propaganda to them. It's marketing to us.
It's marketing and it's propaganda. Here's the difference between the two. Marketing is I'm just trying to get you to appeal and buy something from me, right? But propaganda, I'm merely trying to change your mind about some stuff at the same time. So I'm like, yes, Iran was dropping.
Hold up. I gotta push back. I gotta push back on that though.
That's fine. You can. Give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Iran is putting out good information. It's real information. It's the same stuff that you hear from us all the time. In fact, they got it. A lot of it they got from us.
Right. It's historical information.
They're just repackaging it and sending it right back down the line.
And they're cute, sexy, and putting a little rap with it and everything like that.
The point of it is not to uplift the Black community. The point of it is not to say that we love and support you, Black community. The point of it is to sow discord in America because we should not be in support of what's going on.
But the amazing thing about it though is they use our culture, they use Black culture to propagandize America. Yeah, I was like, wow. So they have an understanding how the influence of our culture on them, on the white folks. They understood how that culture affects this America. They use it against it and use as a perfect vessel to put their propaganda in. Now
But
come back to us. Now I'm gonna go back to us.
affect you in a way.
It should because it also it upsets as a black person. You should be like, wait a minute, you put on a kind of a minstrel show
Yes.
with us. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's kind of a minstrel, but
it's like you're playing blackface.
Yeah, you're playing back in our face.
It appeals to us. We're gonna let it ride a little.
To them, I'll say to them, because it appeals to them, because it's getting to them.
To us. That's what it shows rap music. It appeals to us and their children.
But I know, but no, I think it's more. I think it's a higher level than that, though. I don't think it's just merely just like we're gonna do a catchy tune. I think because they know that they consume so much of our culture that the easiest way to inoculate them with this shit is through our culture, right? Because they take it anyway. It's like they drink it up anyway. Anything they can get, they trying to find out about us, trying to do that. So serve it up to them in that. So it's an easier pill to swallow.
Okay,
right?
And we're gonna move off of that one, bro.
But I'm just saying. But I'm saying that's how they did it. I thought that was. But it's marketing. It is because you could say because it's manipulation because then you go the other side because marketing really is manipulation because I could sell you a product I know is going to kill you, cigarettes, harmful food, and I put it in a pretty package. I say, hey, go ahead and eat it. You know what I'm saying? It's good stuff. You know, sugar free. You know what I'm saying? Also got got red dye 40 in it. Got all this other got aspartame in it. You know all this other stuff that's got in it or stuff like that. I don't tell you about that.
Okay, I agree with you. What I was trying to get across is
it is intent. The intent is not to be benevolent to us. Right. It's not.
But that's what I was saying. That's all.
It's not intent. But it's something to study. Though it should be almost like a case study though.
Not yet. This ain't for us right now. But Tracy, I would like to try to do like a case thing, if you will permit me. So you are working with the young people, with the theater program. And hey, if you made it this far into the video, please go to Tracy Media 74. Is that right? Okay. Please go to Tracy Media 74 and make a contribution to her program to help these children have a good time this summer. But what other than that, Tracy, what are some thoughts you have for how the wider community, wider community can support your program and programs like yours?
Oh boy, that's a whole hour discussion. Because
you've been so patient. I would just want you to.
I know. I'm just trying to see how can I succinct that. First of all, props to me for not going off when y'all said y'all should have voted for Kamala because I did not. I made it very clear.
Well,
I made it very clear who I voted for and why I made my vote. I didn't vote for Trump. I didn't vote for either one, but I did vote. But props to me. I just sat here and didn't say anything. But to answer your question, I think it's like with Black people, when I talk about theater to white audiences, I don't have to do a whole lot of pumping and priming and giving a lot of information. But for Black people, I always tend to have to be like, now, theater, even though it has European roots, and it does, that it really, if you think about it, it started in Africa. So I have to talk about the African roots, like the drums and the music and I have to talk about those things. So it's I always had to feel like I'm educating people, which is fine. I'm willing to do it, but it's not an easy road. I mean, it's not. I mean, everybody's like, I love to sing. And I'm like, well, theater is more than, although we are doing a musical, it's more than singing. I've been in theater since I was 5 years old, and I think I've been in 0 musicals.
So if I may, because I want us to focus on how we can help support each other, right?
Right. So
So
here's okay.
I was just going to say, if someone says to you, I like to sing, and like you're saying, I'm wanting you to focus more on the thespian aspect of what we're trying to do here,
Wait
right?
a minute,
Right.
LGBTQ? No, just kidding. Just playing.
But if the person expresses an interest in singing and you know you're going to be doing a musical, that's a way in, wouldn't it? I mean,
That is a
shouldn't
way
that be a
in.
way in?
It is. Musical theater opens up, and that's what I was going to get to. Musical theater opens up a lot of doors. However, when I'm ranking theater, musical theater is always at the bottom for
That's
me.
fine, but that's right. I'm talking about your program because I think it's really
Oh, and the
important.
program.
I
So we
love
are focusing.
anything that I love anything that would help young people just have fun and explore themselves. And I
Right. I
think
think
theater is a great tool.
it, to do, when I thought about, because I've been wanting to do this for over 20, since I was like 20 years old. So I've always had this idea in the back of my head to do it. Um, I think to talk to the parents, especially with helicopter parents, you have children involved in band and school and and all these things. Well, there's summer break. Your child didn't do it. Your child is literally sitting around the house. Why don't you put them in a program that's going to help them build their confidence, build their speaking skills, help them to build friendships? And because we're a faith-based program, we're trying to build faith also. So we're
So
doing all of
if
it.
I'm a non-religious parent, I'm a secular
You can
parent.
participate. Your non-believing child can't. However, we will demand, and we are going to demand, we're going to pray, we're going to read scripture, we're going to talk about Jesus. That's just what we're going to do.
Right. You should know that when
I
you go
think,
to a church for a program.
yeah, you should know that when you go to a church. I mean, that's just par for the course. But it it's really it's really something that you have to have a drive to do, because I know the ability, like I can see in children the ability is there, like I can see it. I don't have
When you
to
say
argue
when you
about it.
say Trace, when you say drive, what do you mean? Because I'm a creative, so I'm a singer.
The
So
drive, the wanting to do it, like the internal thing that says, gee, I want to do this.
But these are
I
kids,
I,
right?
I think
Right.
Tracy, I'm gonna tell you, like I don't know, I know with your experience. I've been in choirs and singing since I was like 8. So I've always music's always been my thing, right? So I think that it's there. It's the expression of the creative side of you, right? It's gonna come out no matter where you are. I was riffing to Whitney Houston and Prince when I was like going to sleep. It was like my parents just had to suffer from hearing me, singing Whitney Houston because I wanted to sing at a higher register. Um, at night. So it's just something that you are. It's not. It's like breathing. It's just like so. If you find a child who's creative that has that space, because I think children are in two spaces in life. They're creatives and they're the analytical side. The people that are that because even theists is a creative because I was you might be in speech, might be in debate. These are all creative things. Where you have to use your mind and so like music and acting, stuff like that. Take stuff to the place. So my question is, are you like when you're marketing these kids, are you trying to get these kids to come out to you? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you said that they have to have a drive. It's like who they are. You know what I'm saying? Like a creative is a
I think
creative.
See, I
it
disagree with
is,
both of you,
but I disagree. And here's why I'm going to say I disagree with that,
but I
because
do
a lot
understand.
of times, I get where you're going. However, I'll say it in this way: you have to have there has to be something within that parent, because the parent is over the child. They have
Oh,
authority over the
yeah,
child.
oh
They
yeah,
say
yeah.
where the child
Most definitely, they have to
goes
have an environment
because
for that. They have to let the
so the
environment happen.
parent has it. For me, when I say you have to have the drive, I mean you have to have the discipline, because theater to me is discipline. It takes discipline to learn songs. It takes discipline to learn choreography. It takes discipline to learn lines. It takes discipline to take all three of those things and put them together. So that's what I mean by drive is, do you have the ability to take these three separate things and make them into one cohesive production? And teaching that, that's where the joy comes in. Teaching that is, because you said you sing in choir.
Yeah,
Let
to me,
me rephrase it in
it's a
this way.
teaching. Go ahead.
Let me rephrase it in this way. So we've all gone to church. We've seen churches do plays. We've all seen churches do plays, good, bad, or indifferent, mostly bad. My intention on starting this program is to say, no, our children have more of an ability to not only do a good play, but to do the play with excellence.
So here's a question for you, because I think I may be misreading, and this is not a criticism. It's really me trying, because I'm trying to do my educational program, and I'm trying to expand it from where we are right now. And one of the things I think is important is, because like mine is all about it's about academics, but it's project based, right? But I try to keep it fun, because you might come to me and you don't have any interest in that, or you don't know that you have an interest in it. And
Right.
so what I think I was misconstruing is, it's almost like you're not doing a 101 class, you're doing more like a 201, like you're next level young people, like they're already inclined to theater. Is that,
Not
because that's how it kind of came
necessarily.
across to me? Because like if you got a shy kid who doesn't know, he's going to show up and you're going to be like, well, this is serious. And they're going to be like,
No, because and maybe I'm not doing such a good job of saying this, because basically it's still in my head, and we start tomorrow. We actually start tomorrow. And
congratulations.
I'm like, we start tomorrow. But here's what I would say. It's for the child that is gifted or not gifted. We have made this decision, and it's real simple. If you put your child through our 8-week camp, your child will get a role, absolutely positively. They may not get the lead role, but they will get a role. No child will get a solo, so everybody's singing in unison. So you don't have to worry about, oh, well, I can't sing, because you'll be singing with other people. And that decision was intentional, one, because I didn't want to hear, that's my baby in the back. I don't feel like hearing all that.
Good luck.
So I'm hoping parents don't do that, but the crew I got, I'm like, y'all don't do that. But it's a see as you go, because it's the first time I've ever done a drama camp for children. I can do it for adults with my eyes closed, hands tied behind my back all day, every day. But this is the first time I've done it for children.
So at this point, since you're starting tomorrow, how many participants are you presently at?
We are at 10 and we need 14.
Awesome.
We need 14 total. If we don't get the 14, we'll probably double roles, because the script isn't hard.
Characters, gotcha.
Yeah, the character will double characters, make one actor play two characters, because the lines, it's not like they stand out. This isn't Shakespeare. It's not like, well, this character is this way and this character is this way. You can delete characters, add characters. It's that type of script. And I had to keep that in mind, because when you're dealing with church people, I love church. Listen, I'm one person, I love church. Love it with all my heart. But we some people. I'm like, no, yeah, it's like this. It is going to be like this. And we're going to do this and this and this and this. So we're building a foundation so that next year, when we do that 1 hour play, now the children will be able to say, hey, I did this play last year. Let me ask my friend, do they want to come with me? So this is the building block.
Yeah. Because as an aside, my daughter, my teenage daughter, we signed her up for the Delta Sigma Theta program out here years ago when she was like 6th grade, and she's 11th grade now. And when that program started, there might have been 20 kids. Now there's like 100 and something plus, right? So it can go, it can grow. So how are you guys looking as far as like the financial need versus to goal? Like how?
Ha ha ha. So we are church supporters. So and for you all that don't know, I gotta tell the church I attend because somebody, well, you didn't tell what church you go to. So I go to the First Baptist Church North, Indianapolis. We absolutely cannot charge people for coming in. So what we had to do is get really, 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 really creative is we start asking people for donations, which is what I do on my podcast. I say, hey, we're trying to raise 3,500 is our goal. We probably don't need 3,500, but 3,500 is a good start. And there's pursual costs and there's script costs and there's copying costs. We're taking that on ourselves. Like we're just saying, okay, I'm gonna pay for this myself. Like I've just gone to the copy store and I've made copies of scripts. That's just what I've done.
So I'm going to interrupt you here. So folks, I know Tracy just said that the goal is 3,500, but they don't really need 30. They need 3,500, folks. And here's the reason why. Everything they're able to raise in this inaugural event helps to justify the events that they want to do in the future. Also, it'll help to show a lot more support from the community because that's part of what we were talking about today. I know originally we started with the legal side, but that's where I wanted to kind of end this discussion is that when we see someone who is doing a positive thing, we have to start to build that muscle that says, I want to see it succeed. Even if it's not something that I 100% would even want to participate in, but I see that how it's of service to someone. Because see, when I listen to you talk about theater, me personally, I'm not a theater kid. I like some theater. I used to watch all the Shakespeare stuff, right? And can't remember who the other guy is, but I see him, I hear him in my thing, but I can't remember. Jerry Lewis.
August Wilson.
I used to love Jerry Lewis.
Oh, I love August Wilson.
Love his stuff. So what I'm thinking is there's a kid out there who their mom is already a part of the church and she's going to make this child show up.
Yep. That's what we're pretty much getting right now.
Right. So I'm encouraging people, the community to show support for one, because the church never has enough money flowing in when it's a community church. Now, some of the mega churches is a different story, but so support's always needed. And also I believe you reward what you want to repeat. So if you want to see young people have programs that keep them from sitting in a chat online somewhere, getting who knows what attention, this is a good place for them to be.
And excellence ain't cheap.
Say what's not cheap?
Could you say that one more time?
Excellence ain't cheap, bro. Excellence ain't cheap.
You have
excellence
to
ain't cheap.
Excellence.
It's not cheap.
Can I say this? Excellence is a decision. And this is what I'm going to be emphasizing to the children, well, mostly to the parents. You have to want to excel. It's time out for, well, that'll do it. It's church, everybody. No. You have to present with excellence. Now, of course, I'm going to throw in because God is excellent, but that's because we're a faith-based program. But in general, anything we do, whether it's our businesses or, whether that's a restaurant or insurance company, you have to want to be excellent. You can't, mediocrity is just something for me, I can't tolerate it. It's just like something I just can't, it's like it doesn't fit with me. Well, that'll do it. No, I always want to go higher and think better. Funny story, just so I can tell it, and I'll probably talk about this more when I bring on some of the cast. Y'all know churches got a bad habit of doing plays just that one time and then just calling it a day. Yeah, we love that one. We love to do plays just one time. That that was the first thing I said. It had to go. I was like, absolutely not. We're going to do Friday. We're going to do Saturday. We're going to do Sunday. And that's it.
Do you have the
Doesn't
audience for that?
huh? It doesn't matter because we're building, right? We're building towards something, right?
Okay.
We're building towards something. Now, do I think
That's
we have the congregation to pull it off? Probably. But, we have a team that's going to be out passing out flyers and all those things. But the reason that I did it that way, one, is because that's what I'm used to. I have never, ever been in a play where I just performed it one time and then that's it.
If I may, and I am not changing anything, you're about to go live. Because I'm just thinking about it from the standpoint of like the children debuting on a Friday. That could be, different. I'm just my whatever, thinking outside. But as a creator and the host and the coordinator, and you're a lot of things.
Yeah, I'm a whole lot of things.
Yeah. When you're looking at how you're rolling your program out, I think you're going to learn a lot this first year. Just like I've been learning a lot.
This is the learning year.
Yeah.
The stuff scattered knee scraping year.
Yeah. So I wish you the absolute best with what you're working on. I just wanted to say, because one of the things you saw me looking away, I was trying to find in your videos where the link is for people to be able to support you.
You can it's always in the description section of my videos. Always, always, always. I always talk about it.
Okay, wait.
Let me put it in the chat section so I can.
Got it.
We've got to do better.
First Baptist Church North Drama Camp.
Yes, that's it. And it's got those 4 unfortunate letters at the end. That wasn't me. Yeah, I know. I was like, I didn't really point that out.
Okay. Don't point that out to anybody anymore. Don't do that.
I don't. I never say my mouth is closed. But I think that, like you said, this is going to be a learning year, but it's a shift, right? It's taking people's minds of, what? We do have the ability to put on plays. Most Christian community theater groups, that's the goal. That's the 3 to 5 year goal, right? Everybody debuts on Friday. Everybody donate. Everybody starts on Friday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They normally do 2 weeks. We're only doing 1. But again, it's a shift in the mindset of the people. And luckily, they've gone along with it, although I've gotten some strange looks, but it's okay because I realized, this is a change.
Yeah, you're stepping into your vision. So please, guys, I put it in the rolling chat. I can't seem to get into the regular one, but once it posts, I'll do that. And so best of luck to you, Tracy. We'll be looking forward to updates and see how it's developing.
Good luck.
It's break a leg.
Break a leg. That's right. I don't know why I figure out I said break a leg, but for us, it's don't get hoarse.
Yeah, I'm like, don't lose your voice.
Don't lose your voice.
Hey, so
although I like when I lose my voice.
Huh?
I like when I get a little raspy. It gives them a little more texture, a little more seasoning to it.
Soon as my children are over the age of 3, all of a sudden they don't like my singing anymore. I don't know. I think something goes wrong with their ears. But Antoine, hate to do this to you at the very end, fam, but
no problem.
Would you mind talking yourself up, man?
You want to do the benediction? Oh, I thought you want to do the benediction.
Yeah.
I was like, well, made the
Lord. Everybody, if you could step in. We're gonna bridge the gap in the aisle, folks. All right, touch hands.
Touch and agree.
Yeah,
I need touch and agree. You know what I'm saying? Let everybody know. No, but bigging myself up. I don't really big myself up. I appreciate all y'all. If you guys are, as I know, I'm a small business. I have to put my little camera. A small business. Where's my thing going? Hold up. Hold on. Something happened. I'm gonna lose my. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I don't mean to get distracted. But dang, I think my computer's about to go off. But anyway, all I was saying is that I forgot what I was saying.
All right, so I'm gonna take it. So, hey guys, if you
Please do.
if you are in Georgia, okay,
Thank you.
I strongly recommend that you reach out to this brother right here. He is a financial professional. He's an insurance professional, and one of the great things is he focuses on what actually meets your need, so you're not walking into a prescribed solution. You may need a lot of coverage, you may need a little coverage. You need to, first of all, you need to know what your coverage is and how it works for you. All right. And this is a brother who can definitely help you with that. So if you are concerned about if something were to happen, how will your family continue to pay the bills? What standard of living do you want for your family? What standard of living you want for yourself? Because there are solutions that actually speak to that as well. This is the man I want you to touch bases with. We're talking about supporting the community. That's going to be the way you guys hear me phrase this going forward. I'm not talking about black, 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 because at this point, if you've heard me at all, you should already know that's where I'm at. So I'm talking about the community. If we want to find success in our community, we have to invest in our community. So you got Antoine here. He is a black man doing good business. It's not a matter of him being a black business. Okay. This is a man who we grew up through the trenches, man. All right.
Came up to the grind.
we this is a quick humble brag. I mean, we're talking about JP Morgan. I mean, we're talking about some of the biggest players in the game where we helped people fashion their futures, and Antoine stayed committed to the mission. So please reach out to Antoine. He is there, and we support you. We're asking that you please help support us. And we'll catch you on the next go round. Anything
Please subscribe, share, comment, engagement, please. You know what I'm saying? Thank you.
I'll see everybody tomorrow.